On Broncos country, we have missed you. It's been a long couple of weeks since we have talked about Broncos stuff. And more importantly, tonight is the annual Fan Appreciation Night. I'm glad you guys are here. We have prizes to give away. You are going to want to stick throughout the entire show because as we go through the show, we'll be giving away some prizes to some lucky winners. If you're good on Broncos trivia, okay, you might have a good chance. If you got some good Broncos stories, you also might have a good chance. So keep thinking about those as we go through the show. We got John, Spotty, David here. Jared is out at sea, playing big American hero for us right now. So Jared, we miss you, good sir. But guys, let's start talking some Broncos. Here we go. Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Awesome, guys. Glad to see y'all here again, to the co-hosts and to the fans as well. Jerry's already here. He's ready to go. Again, guys, make sure you stick through the show because we're going to be giving away some prizes. But first, let's just go through the horn and see how everyone's doing. John, how you doing, man? How you feeling about yet another Chiefs Super Bowl win?
Oh, Kevin, why'd you set me up that way? Come on, man.
Well, we're going to start low, and then we're going to build up throughout the show. So
I've had a great day. Thank you for asking. I miss you guys. I miss David. David, I don't know the last time that I was on a show with you. It's been way too long. And Spotty, both of you guys. I've been dealing with Kevin for basically the second half of the season, I think, on our post-game show. So always lovely to see both of your faces. And Kevin, you're great too.
I try. David, how you doing, man?
Oh, delicious, Kevin. And I mean that in the truest sense of the word. I've got, nothing but Chiefs talk to look forward to in the off season, I guess. That's all right. That kind of sucks. But I'm here with my boys to talk Broncos, not Chiefs tonight. And that always feels good.
I love it. Spotty, what about you, bud?
I had a few too many drinks on Super Bowl Sunday, so I'm going to forget the Super Bowl. I'm going to just pretend like it was just an all nuggly dream that we all wake up hungover from. So if you're asking me, I'm going to push aside this Chiefs dynasty talk for a little while until hopefully the Broncos can reassure us in the next couple of months that we'll be able to compete in this AFC West.
Well, the big question right now for the Broncos, obviously, is the quarterback, right? We're going to have to see what that looks like, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit, guys. But first, let's give away our first fan appreciation prize of the night. John, I'm going to hand it over to you for your prize, ladies and gents. Snow-capped mini helmet. John, take it away.
To be clear, this is mini, not the life. You cannot put this on your head. Don't try it.
Well, mini helmet.
I don't know how big their head is.
I mean, I guess, I won't judge if you can fit it on your head. That's cool. Okay, this is who's that player question. First answer that is correct will get the prize. Very humble player. It was hard to find some information about this guy. I'm going to start off with a couple of stories about him that I was able to find and go from there. I have a feeling we might need some hints, so I'll throw it out there. Anyways, to start off, first story I found on this person, he scored a 93-yard touchdown. He was so exhausted, he had collapsed into the end zone. And it required 3 other Broncos to carry him off the field. He said he was dead for 3 days. That's hint number 1. Number 2, and that was against the Raiders, by the way. This one was against the Chiefs, I believe. And this was a 24-yard touchdown. And I can relate to both these stories because I think if I was in the same situation and actually good at sports, I think both these would happen to me as well. Gets to the touchdown, spikes the ball comes up and hits him directly in the face. He said it's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to him, but he said it was the best story of his life. So those are your 2 hints. I'll let it go for a couple seconds before giving the rest of the hints, because those you might need ChatGPT to find the answers to those too.
Okay. Let's see. So far in the comments, I think maybe tagging someone. I don't think that's a player, but let's start posting some player guesses, guys. See who wins this Broncos mini helmet. Gary, you already made a short joke. You're not going to win anything tonight, man. Okay, what's the next guess?
If I have to choose between a short joke on Kevin and winning a prize, I know what the answer is.
You guys probably have. Do you have any idea who? Any thoughts? Any guesses for you guys?
Couldn't have any less of an idea right now.
Multiple Pro Bowls, obviously. Hall of Fame player. I'll give you that one. Unsung hero, for sure. I'll stop there.
Yep, still not sure. No one in the chat's guessing yet.
No,
guys in the chat, you might as well just start throwing out names.
Throwing out names.
At this rate, yeah. I mean,
Hall of Famer Broncos is not that long a list, guys. You're gonna get those later.
Names out there at this point.
Hey, but we added some more recently, so
that's true. One more. And boy, we're gonna talk about that pretty soon. Kevin, how dare you throw the show over to John with a Chiefs Super Bowl mention before we talk about Randy Gradishar? How dare you?
Like I said, I was starting low and I was going to build us up, right?
Well, you started real low. I think you got to take the L on this one. Yeah. No.
All right. We'll get back to that one, David, for sure, because I have some thoughts on that. I was not prepared. But next clue, all-decade player. All right, this should really start narrowing the if you have Google available, it should, for his time frame, all decade.
Really sounds like there's maybe like one player it could be.
And maybe you kind of referenced him a little while ago there, David. That's like the biggest thing I can give. Because we got to pay homage to a guy that would be going into the Hall of Fame.
Come on, guys, in the chat. Let's hear it. Free. Okay, here we go. Keith, first guess. Floyd Little?
Not Floyd Little.
Floyd Little. Keith with the first guess of the night. It is not Floyd Little. Come on, guys. Who wants a free mini helmet?
Gary doesn't want a mini helmet. He's trying to give clues out.
Keep them coming, John. What you got next?
He's going into the Hall of Fame this year. How about that?
So, people in the chat, what Broncos player is going to the Hall of Fame this year? And you win a free mini helmet. Come on,
boy.
I think we needed a little more lead time to this. Apparently, we need to start this like 15 minutes into the show, Kev. I don't know.
Apparently, maybe a tip for next year. I'll keep that handy.
He's the Broncos' all-time leader in tackles. There's that.
Come on, Keith. Come on, Keith.
There we go. Keith. There we go.
Winner number one of the night, Randy Gradishar.
All right, we're gonna give it to you,
does
Keith.
Not count.
But yeah,
Spelling
next time we're gonna clean up this. We're gonna clean up the spelling for the Hall of Famer.
We had to pull that. Boy. Come on. We got 3 more of these to go. So
it's because it was a mini helmet. There's 3 more prizes left
Man.
Tonight, guys. 3 more prizes. So you are not going to want
mine will at least be a little bit more easy to Google. So hopefully it will be less pulling teeth to get an answer out of everybody. But we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, Keith. Go ahead and send us a message on like Facebook with your address so that I could send you this prize. Okay, man. So make sure you send me your address. And make sure you put that it's for the mini helmet here, and we'll get that chipped off to you. Okay. So prize number 1 is gone, and we will move on to the second one a little later into the show. Well, let's talk about what we're talking about. Randy Gradishar, man, long time coming, but finally here we are. Not only him getting into the Hall of Fame, but a couple notable Broncos on next year's ballot to include Demaryius Thomas for one, and Aqib Talib as well, I believe.
Yep. So real quick, first of all, to circle back, David, What the heck, Kevin? You're gonna start with the cheat. You're gonna open up the show, making me. You didn't even prep me for that at all,
I'm taking the L. Okay.
I feel like I handled it well, but come on.
You did. You did.
Yeah,
Well, I had to keep you fresh.
All right, enough of that. All right, I had to get that off my chest. But I mean, Randy Gradishar, like class act guy. He'd been on the ballot for 9 years. Not get in forever. He was a finalist multiple years, and man, the stuff I was looking up today, just because we have to pay homage to this guy. I wish I'd been able to watch him. He was around in the 70s, I think early 80s, and he's just the guy that led the Orange Crush. You know, he is the leader. You look it up. That's the one thing that comes up is he is the Orange Crush. So, I mean, it's
for sure.
Long time. It's deserved. We talked about it, but I'll leave it there. The guy, I can't say enough about what he means to the Broncos organization.
Love it. It's going to be really cool to see him in that gold jacket, and when they induct him and they do the Hall of Fame game for us next year where they invite him down halftime, all that stuff, right? So it's going to be fantastic. Dave and Spotty, what do you think?
Absolutely. I think
Joey will work on some of those prizes for next year.
Right.
All right. So I think absolutely got to give Randy Gradishar his props because, man, it felt like it was just never going to happen, right? Broncos country. It felt like it was just scary. Like, it was like, man, it's just, if it's not this year, when? If it's not this year, when's it going to be? Finally this year, right? And so now the next finally on the list for me is Mike Shanahan. Because I don't know how did Bill Cowher get the nod before Mike Shanahan did this year? Am I remembering this right? Are we kidding me?
It doesn't even matter. Are we throw any name out there? How is Mike not Shanahan? He changed the way that play offense.
Look at the NFL right now. Look at what the NFL's doing right now. All right, that's fine. It's fine because Mike. Well, that's okay. See, this is the thing. I don't have the same anxiety with Randy Gradishar that I had with Mike Shanahan to where like, oh man, is it ever going to happen? Obviously, right. Mike Shanahan's getting into the Hall of Fame, and it's going to be in the next 2 to 3 years. But it's an outrage. It's still outrageous.
I think it'll be one of the nice things to see here is that I believe we've been kind of not shunned, but for whatever reason, Broncos haven't been getting in as much over the last couple of years. And I feel like the next few that we're going to go, it's going to be really hard not to be adding at least one a year. So it's really good to see Randy get in this year. We know that it's been coming. For a player like himself, it's hard to sit back and wait and see all these other guys because at times you're like, does this person's career really, add up to mine, and especially in the era that we did it. So it's great to see him get it. And then I'm also really looking forward to what I think would be more Broncos over the next couple of years, at least 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yep.
And I think, you just look at the impact that the Broncos have had in the league, since 1960. And, when you look at the Ring of Fame that the Broncos have, obviously not saying all of those are going to be Hall of Famers, but you look at the impact that they had on the team in the league when they were in, and there are some incredibly strong candidates that you could point at and say, how has this person not even been, nominated or really on the ballot versus some of these other players. Right. So, is what it is, but I think you're right. Hopefully, as time goes on and, we see people like Gradishar getting in. Okay, now we can start seeing more and more people. I want to ask you guys, between Demaryius Thomas and Aqib Talib, what do you think the chances are of one of them getting in next year on the first ballot there for them?
Yeah. It's hard. Demaryius Thomas, obviously there's the emotional appeal of that. That's, it's going to be hard for him to get in though at the position. Like there's a backlog of wide receivers that should be in the Hall of Fame that are not. Guys like Reggie Wayne, who else? Torrey Holt, those type of guys that were like, when we were kids, were like, they were the best at their position, at that time. So it's hard for me to see, as much as I love Demaryius Thomas, and I love Demaryius Thomas, this is nothing against him. I think just the position is just a hard one to get in at the moment. Aqib Talib, that one could be a different situation. He was not like an all-time Bronco great, but he was best in the league for a long time at his position on multiple teams. So, and he did it in multiple systems. So I could see him as a potential first ballot. I think might be tricky for him, but we'll see. I don't know. That one seems more likely than Demaryius, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you have to be kind of known for something. And when it comes to the two of them, Aqib, at his time at the position, he was a perennial all-star player. I believe for a while he was holding down the pick six record. So the amount of pick sixes that he had, for not only just for us, but just for his whole entire career, that kind of sticks out. You need one of those defining kind of things to kind of set yourself apart. And just like John said, I love Demaryius Thomas. I love him as a player. He's an all-time great for the Broncos. It's just that when you're putting yourself up against some of those other guys that are going to be out there, it's real hard to kind of shine greater than some of those other pass catchers.
For sure. Look, it's cool to see them on the ballot, at the very least. I think that means, if they don't get in this year, I think we could expect to see them in within the next 5 years, probably, right? Especially someone like DT, who was, I think, the number one touchdown receiver for Peyton Manning when he was here in Denver. I don't think any other Bronco had more receiving touchdowns than Demaryius Thomas. So, that he did so much for so long, and it's so sad to see, what happened to him at the end of his life there and how everything went down. But when you go back to, and I just, think back to the game against the Lions following DT's passing, just the amount of love that not just Broncos fans, but visiting fans, Lions fans, and I can't remember his name, but you all have seen the picture of the Lions fans saying, today we're all Broncos fans.
He was on the show last year,
Jeff. Last year's fan appreciation show, we got him on here, right? And so to see the love and appreciation that everybody across the NFL had for DT, I think just says a lot about who he was as a person. I mean, hearing stories from his teammates and everything, just how well liked he was amongst the teammates and their family, and the kids loved him, right? I mean, he was just an all-around stand-up guy. So really hoping that in the next few years we see him going that way to the Hall of Fame. Let's switch gears a little bit here. David, go for it.
Yeah, no, something in DT's favor is that Peyton Manning is going to be in the ear of every Hall of Fame voter that he can find about DT. That's for darn sure. And that voice is going to carry some weight with those voters. Yeah. So
that's,
Well, again, you talk about a guy like Reggie Wayne. Imagine if DT was in that situation. If he had been able to play the amount of years that Reggie Wayne had been able to play with
Peyton Manning. Yeah, who knows what the narrative would be.
Totally right. Story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, David, before we get to prize number 2 here, I want to ask you a little bit more for people who maybe not have seen one of your latest videos that we have up on our YouTube page. Make sure everybody, you're following us on YouTube. We put out a ton of content during the off season as well. We'll keep you apprised of things going on and when we're going to be doing shows for like free agency and the draft and so on and so forth. But David, you did a video about one name we may not see back next year, possibly being Garrett Bowles. Talk us through, maybe some of your thoughts on that, and then we'll hand it over to you for prize number 2 for the night.
Well, so guys, I feel like this year it's going to be a house cleaning, a reset for Sean Payton to start getting his guys into the building. And, I think that you're going to see a lot of of players that you've seen as roster building blocks, quote unquote, turn into draft picks this offseason. Because that's what the Broncos need, what they don't have right now, if they really want to build a roster from the ground up and get Sean Payton's guys into the building now. And I think that Garrett Bowles is a guy, with a $20 million cap hit that has a contract, I guess, that I don't know that fits on a team if you really are tearing it down and bringing in all your own new guys. So that's one reason I think him, Justin Simmons, any receiver, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, maybe even Tim Patrick. I don't know. I think all of these people are available at the right price this offseason.
Well, it's funny you say Tim Patrick. If I were the Broncos, I would be shopping him heavily because we don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back, right? I think now, before you know, is probably when you're going to get the most trade value out of him other than you wait and see and hope he comes back kind of right where he left off, right? And just after being down for 2 whole years, it's like, okay, if he does come back, it's going to take him a while to get. It's going to take till mid-season before we really see Tim Patrick at the top of his game, right? And even then, it might be another year after that till he kind of, look at what was going on right now with our running back who got hurt last year, Javonte Williams, right? By this year, the last quarter of the season, he was just looking exhausted, right? So he had spent the whole offseason just repairing his body to get ready for the season, but that's different than trying to get in shape for the season, right? So now he has the whole offseason to kind of get back to, his game playing form. I think you're going to see the same with Tim Patrick. This is going to be a multi-year thing for him. And so I don't know, guys, like if I'm looking at receivers, I'm also looking at Tim Patrick and shopping him around.
Okay. But can we be realistic here? Who is trading for Tim Patrick? I mean, the guy.
Hey, you want to get some draft capital? You want to get a low pick or something?
Kevin, come on. We all have orange goggles. I love it. It's great. We all very much value Tim Patrick. Do not get me wrong. He is a stud when he's on the field. The problem is that he's not on the field. We are not getting whatever we get for Tim Patrick right now from the rest of the NFL, you guys would not be happy with. I will tell you that right now.
I'd be happy to get anything. No, I'd be happy to get
a 7th round pick.
If they give us a 7th round pick for him, I'd
rather have him on the team next season for that.
I don't trust, and it's nothing against Tim Patrick. I just don't trust that after the 2 major injuries,
I agree,
back to back, are going to mean that he's going to be productive on the field. And so to bring him back on the team is just doing us more harm than good, I think. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he goes out there and he just lights it up, right? Maybe that's what happens.
At this point, I think you have to see what you got because he's got the contract. We gave him the contract, so no team's going to take on that contract and give up anything serious for him. So either you cut him or you see what he's got, I think is the 2 options.
Yeah. So what's the situation for the Broncos right now? We're talking about somewhere between the $20 to $40 million range that we're in the hole for cap figure.
That's a big range, by the way, 20 to 40.
You know what? When it comes to NFL speak, it really isn't. That's like one contract, man. It's not that much, right? So we're in the hole for, tens of millions of dollars right now. And guys, trust me, I love Tim Patrick. But at the same time, I don't think we're having the conversation about where can we trade him. I'm thinking that it's more the conversation is tied to, are we cutting him or are we keeping him? And from what I've seen from the numbers for Tim Patrick, it makes a lot of financial sense for them to cut him. Now, the one that, kind of step back to what David was talking about when it comes to Garrett Bowles. Yeah, I agree. I could absolutely see Garrett Bowles he's either not going to be on the team or he's going to have to reconstruct that deal for us to be able to put us in a good spot. And we know that there's not really any need for a lot of these bigger players to do that, right? Like we know what kind of landslide that conversation had with Russell Wilson, right? We asked him to redo his deal, and the next thing you know, the Broncos were trying to, sounds like the Broncos trying to piss in a cereal or whatever, and he took that real bad. Okay, so I think it even starts first is that one conversation that this all offseason is going to be about. It's going to be the Russell Wilson contract, because that contract also could either put us even more in the hole or help us in certain situations.
Well, and to that, Spotty, back to David's point, I'm not totally agreeing with what he's saying as far as we're starting fresh. Mainly because I put $20 on Russell Wilson being the day one starter for the Broncos.
Okay.
Let's talk about orange colored goggles here. Okay. You got the betting goggles on.
I'm just
right?
saying there's hope, David. And I do not want to see if we're trading Gator Bulls, and then I've just lost $20, which is I'll probably lost $20 anyway. But if I don't,
John, next time you want to make a bet, just give me your money. I'll take it gladly.
Yeah, man.
I'm not going to see it again anyway.
I
Like
felt
if
like
you're just gonna throw it away.
I felt
Like if you're just gonna throw it away.
Just share it with us. Well, hey guys, I think it's time for prize number 2. David, I am going to hand this over to you, man. We got a Broncos old school D snowball
beanie, right?
Beanie, yeah,
absolutely.
David. Take it away, man. How are we giving this away?
All right, guys. This is
make it easy.
It's interesting, Kevin, that you referenced the Ring of Fame earlier, because that's where I'm going for my trivia question today. I want to hear you tell me the most recent player to get into the Broncos Ring of Fame and the first player to get into the Broncos Ring of Fame. And there you go.
Okay. So repeat that again for everybody.
Absolutely. We are doing the first player in the Broncos Ring of Fame and the last player to be inducted, the most recent player. So I want 2 names from you guys. Got to get them both right.
First and last, inducted into the Hall of or the Ring of Fame right now for the Broncos. Okay, guys, start posting your guesses. Again, I mean, if you're wrong, then you're wrong. But if you're right and you're the first one to be right, you got
getting
a pretty nice hat.
And you guys, as you're trying to figure this one out, again, Fan Appreciation Night, guys, we do this every year. I think this is the 4th year we've done this. And this is just our way to say thank you to you all for supporting us during the year, watching our content, telling your friends about us, all that stuff, right? So we wouldn't be doing this without y'all. We'd still be talking Broncos amongst ourselves, but it's way more fun to be doing it with you all. So seriously, thank you for all your support during this year. This is exactly why we're doing this and giving some stuff away for you guys. But let's see what you guys have. First one here, Lionel Tyler and Peyton Manning.
I don't believe that is correct. I think, according to the source I've got, you don't have both names correct.
I think Gary got it.
Ziggy, Elway, and Bailey.
Yep. No,
awesome.
No, that is also not correct.
No.
Gary's got it.
Gary.
Yes, Goose Gonsolin and Peyton Manning. Yes, indeed.
There you go.
Yes, indeed. All right, Gary.
Well, I don't think Gary has too much. Yeah, he doesn't have too many things for Broncos gear.
Well, I hope not. Not from us.
But this will be, something good for him. Yeah, easy win. I love it, man. Hey, that's how easy it is to win prizes here at Orange Weekly. I
had to throw you a bone over John's scavenger hunt of a question.
I feel like I do that every year, man. But good job.
Good
rebound. I set us up.
It's a classic John thing to overcomplicate it, man. It's
it's fair enough.
His 10-minute description really threw everybody for a loop.
I just wanted to give props to our new Hall of Famer. I felt like we don't know enough about this guy.
Well, it's like you wanted to lead the horses to water, but first we should go check out that well over there. Oh, and look at that pretty rock. Let's look at that. And it was.
You're right. I could have done better. Sorry.
So I'm gonna say, Joey, for next year's prizes, I might be asking you for some ideas on prizes. You have some pretty good ideas tonight. I do want to give out a shout out to and he'll probably get a prize on the side here. The fan that I wanted to choose is probably one of the bigger fans of ours from this last year, David. You might have seen him, not you, David, and not you, the other David, but one of the fans that sent in some videos. Gary actually knows him pretty well. David, you're an amazing Broncos fan. If you see this, man. And actually, funny story, if you guys remember seeing those videos of David saying "Go Broncos" in his full Broncos suit and everything, someone from Broncos PR actually recognized him in the store he works in, and called him out and said, he looked great on camera and everything. So really cool that David's getting some public notoriety, public publicity. I've been drinking too much already, I guess. Notoriety. There you go.
There it is.
And so David, you can expect a little bit of a prize from us here at Orange Weekly. But again, Joey, I want to talk to you next year about some prizes, because I don't know what we would do to paint David's room. I would want to, try to get in on that prize.
It's a new home, for him.
I mean, it's it's an apartment, so I'm not entirely sure what my lease says about painting the walls, to be honest with you. But
well, as long as we paint it back,
you can help you paint it twice.
Yeah. Okay.
Fact.
Well, that's
the main prize is time with you, David.
Obviously, that's the gift that keeps on giving.
He's a lot taller than you'd expect. I'll say that.
That I hear more than just about anything when people meet me in person is, man, you're taller than I thought you were going to be. And,
a lot smaller than you would think he would be.
See, I wasn't even going to say anything. Why you gotta go on the other side there? Why you gotta do that?
This is Bourbon, Broncos, no BS, and Kevin's make fun of Kevin.
That's the only fan appreciation show. That's a different.
That's a little saucy.
It's a different show.
That's
a different, honestly, much better show.
Where Gary, one of the prizes for the OnlyFans fan appreciation show is we do get to pick David. He may or may not have clothes on while we do it.
That's for the after fan appreciation.
Your discretion.
That's right.
Yeah, it's your discretion.
All I'm saying is,
hey, Kyle,
it's a much better show.
Hey, Kyle, hang in there. We have 2 more prizes yet to give away, so make sure you're sticking around, everyone. We got some more Broncos talk, so you're not going to want to go anywhere. I'm not going to tell you what the prizes are yet. You're going to have to wait and stick around to see what they are. But next major topic, guys.
The best prize is already gone. I'm just gonna say.
Oh, is that it? Is that it?
Was it mine?
He needs another.
Maybe I'm gonna have to.
Puffball member.
Wasn't the puffball? I'll tell you that much.
Now, hold on just a minute, because John, I actually do like your prize, because that might be a 1-year helmet. Broncos country, we'll see.
It might be a one and done type thing.
Yeah, well, it might be a limited time
money in the future. Keep it in the box.
That's it. That's it.
This is a good segue.
Who got that one? Who got that one?
Do we think the Broncos are going to release a new jersey this year or next year?
Didn't they confirm they were doing it this year? Like, I thought a couple of months ago they were like, it's still coming in
confirmations that they're going to, like, they might introduce them this year, but not be used until the 2025 season.
All I know is that they really were complaining quite a bit about how hard it is to change a jersey in the NFL. So I guess it makes me think that they want to do it this year, but maybe it's not going to happen. I don't know.
I think they need to inject some excitement into Broncos fandom next year. So having the new jersey would probably help out, because we're going to go on 8 years now where it seems like we've been let down more than anything else. So something to be excited about would help out.
Well, and for those who maybe have not seen, these are just concepts.
Who's concepts? Right? Are these random people?
Yeah.
No, this is
Kevin's just looking on the internet.
They just pull random, like anyone could. But
no, this is from Broncos Wire. This is after all these leaks came out. One of the big things they're talking about is mountains on the sleeves, right? And then, whether they use a logo there in the corner, I'm not sure, but that's something they're talking about doing as well. But
I don't know, man. I feel like the NFL has gone a lot with the old school jerseys, kind of like the situation with the Oilers jersey this year. So I 100% see the Broncos going with a classic Broncos concept first.
See, Kevin's just pulling out concept arts. Here's
all we have to go off of right now.
Relevant.
Wait, we got 5 seconds. Wait, what's the QB plan on the left? Can we pull that up and read through that, Kev?
Good Lord.
We'll talk about the QB plan in a little bit. There is no plan right now. That's the plan.
There's a relevant tweet from our old friend Mario Vitanze, which I think bears weight here. Who has undeniably has some team sources for some things. says that we will see an announcement reveal of the Broncos uniforms this year, right before the draft, and that was tweeted earlier today. So, I don't know. It seems possible.
So mid-ish.
Yeah,
April.
well, obviously they would have to do it before the draft because that's when the new draft player comes in. You want to be able to show off your new uniform and your new logo and all those things if you have one. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that's the one thing is they're not talking about changing the logo itself. I think the Broncos logo itself is going to stay the same. It's just
they have to put their jersey up when they get drafted, so it'd be pretty cool to have the new one to be like
it's got to be there on that stage.
And
they have a first-round pick this year to give it to, so
we can actually watch.
Maybe.
What?
Maybe.
That's true.
Well,
maybe. Oh God, I don't know.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
Either way, we are going to be live during the first night of the draft, all the way up through the Broncos selection. It's going to happen.
Maybe.
That's right.
Again, maybe
it's going to happen.
Okay,
we're going to be live, and if it's 2.5 hours, that's okay. We'll swap out, but we will be
if
live.
They don't draft in the first round, I think is what Spotty's getting at.
Then we'll do what we did last year, and we'll just start night 1, and we'll just go live all night long until day 2 when they finally pick.
All night
this year. Yeah. So
we'll get Jared up while he's at sea for the hours.
Might as well, right? But you guys can count on us being live at some point. And maybe the Broncos move up in the draft, so the show will be shorter. Maybe they go backwards, and if that's the case, they go down to round 2 or something. Then we'll just go live again the next day. But you can count on us to be live when we announce that first draft. So you guys are not going to want to miss that. Okay. Next big topic, Broncos quarterback controversy. Is Russell Wilson coming back? Is he not? Are we drafting someone? Are we going to pick someone up? I mean, I've seen ideas as ludicrous as getting Drew Lock to come back. I mean, this is bad, guys. We really have no idea which direction this is going to go.
Shout out to my coworker who, for some reason, is a diehard Drew Lock fan and says we never should have gotten rid of him, and I hope they get him back.
Why?
Maybe he wrote that article you read. I don't know. I don't understand his thought.
I don't think there are many people out there that think that the Broncos need to get Drew Lock to come back.
Drew Lock fans out there?
Wrote it.
All right.
Well, let's start with Russell Wilson. I mean, or David, what do you think?
Yeah, okay, let's start with Russell Wilson. If there's really the only scenario I can see Russell Wilson being the starting quarterback week 1 is if we draft a quarterback this year, right? And if he's restructured his contract and the Broncos have drafted a guy this year and they're willing to roll with Russ until they get whoever it is up to speed, but that whoever that is intended to be the eventual starter. I mean, that what else? How else does Russ end up the best option for the Broncos at QB1 going forward next year? You guys tell me.
I think money is the largest piece of this whole thing.
Yeah.
If there's an argument to keep Wilson, it's because of the cap situation. But that's just me.
Right. Spotty.
There's been so many different things, whether it be trading for Justin Fields, which I know David, every time somebody talks to me about that, I'm like, David said it. Do we give up the 12th pick for a guy who
No.
Right? I 100% see it as option A and option B. Or not even that, it's 1A and 1B. 1A is Russell Wilson returns to the Broncos. 1B is we bring in a rookie quarterback. Because of the money situation, there's no other good option unless we're talking about bringing in somebody like Trevor Siemian or something like that who's going to be playing on a severe quarterback discount to be able to do that. So I guess there's a 1C. And I could see us easily going after a quarterback with that 12th pick, or I saw Travis in the comments there was talking about like a Spencer Rattler, or taking something like a flyer out on a quarterback later in the draft that maybe you hope that it's kind of like the Washington Commanders Sam Howell this year, right? They're probably going to draft another quarterback this year, but that kid played well enough for them for 1 year that it put them at least, higher up than they thought they were going to be. So maybe take a flyer out somebody late, but I feel like a rookie guy, my feeling is a rookie is going to be probably taking 50% of the snaps next year.
50%? Okay. Well, if it's 50%,
so by the end of the year, they'll be the starter.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't. But there's no good options. Remember the conversation we had? We were a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. How have we fallen from there? We've severely fallen from one player away from making the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Spotty, we're like 2 or 3 steps down, like removed from that conversation.
That was like 2 years ago. It's not like it was
I know. Time flies. We were jumping up and down when we got Russ, and we're like,
yeah,
this is the
that was my
never gonna wear
how
again.
could we lose?
That was my biggest thing when we got Russ.
And then last year happened.
I figured out my biggest excitement from getting Russ was thinking that we would not have to worry about a quarterback battle for the next at least 5 years. At least
this conversation.
2 years later, here we are. Not even starting from like, oh, it's one of these two guys. It could be anyone. It could be Drew freaking Lock at this point. Like, who knows? Like, it's not going to be. But that's how far we removed from this we are.
Yeah, but again, when we benched Russ, like we were at the position where we're like, okay, this doesn't seem to be our year, but we're moving in the right direction. And then we benched Russ, and it was like we just went so far backwards when that happened. So that's why, for me, I'm just hopeful that they can work out the egos, all that. Don't get me wrong, he has not lived up to his contract. I don't think Russ would even say he has lived up to the money he's making right now. But they're saying the right things right now. And the only reason I have hope that they can work this out is what happened with the Colts last year with Jonathan Taylor, and the fact that everyone wrote him off when he was injured for the first 4 weeks, when they put him on the IR, the short-term IR, when he wasn't actually hurt, supposedly. And then they figured it out, and then he signed a contract to be with them for the next 3 years. So, I don't know the details of that contract. Maybe there's a way for them to cut him this year and it doesn't hurt them as much. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I think that it can be worked out because, to everyone's point, like, we're stuck with this money regardless to Russell Wilson. I'm not saying that I love Russ. I'm not saying that I am wearing his jersey. I mean, I do love the idea of him. I love the concept of having your franchise guy. But I don't think we got that when we gave him the contract that we did. But we're giving him this money, and we have to pay him regardless. So what is it? I don't think there's a better option, to Spotty's point. I like the idea. Draft a young guy. I don't care if it's in the first round. Get a guy in there because he's not gonna be our quarterback forever, whether he can make it or not. His contract probably expires, and he's done if he stays with the Broncos. Like, he probably doesn't live out his contract, I guess is what I'm getting at. So,
how about this? I got the one thing I want to say is the one thing I don't want to see the Broncos do is trade up to get a quarterback. And we've had a lot of conversations, and that's probably the one thing that everybody's talking about right now. But we're in such a bad situation. Do you give up more of the future to hope that whoever it is going to be your guy? I stress the fact that any team that's traded up to get a quarterback in the last, let's say 4 or 5 years, or even go back to the Jared Goff, Carson Wentz years, it has not worked out for anyone.
Oh, hold on. Unless you're the 49ers who go to the Super Bowl with the guy you didn't even trade up to draft.
That doesn't change that. They found some guy who fit their system, and that's what they did, man. But all the teams that have traded up, Carolina with Bryce Young, I see Keith when he said Mahomes, but I'm talking about a big jump, going into the first 3
Mahomes
picks to pick somebody up.
Mahomes first round.
Yeah, they didn't even give up. If I'm right, they probably gave up the first round of the next year, but they didn't give much else than that. The Broncos don't have a lot of capital, just give up.
No, I think they gave up less than that. I feel like they only moved up a couple of spots, and everyone was like, "What are they doing?" And then they got the guy, and everyone was like, "That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen." And here we are, 3 Super Bowl wins later. Fuck me.
Hey guys, you know what time it is?
Giveaway prize.
David, if I was giving away a prize for that, you would have won a prize, David. But it is prize time. Spotty, I'm handing it over to you, good sir. How would you like to give this one away?
You know what's fun? Like, we kind of got like a little trend here. It's kind of like Ring of Fame / Hall of Famer on here. So I've got a multiple choice question on here, okay, that's similar to what everybody else had. So I just got to make sure that my answer is right. Yep. Okay. So which of these Broncos Ring of Fame members was not a first-round pick by the Broncos? A, Steve Atwater, B, Randy Gradishar, C, Carl Mecklenburg, or D, Lewis Wright? So I'll read it one more time. Which of these Broncos Ring of Fame members was not a first-round pick by the Broncos? A, Steve Atwater, B, Randy Gradishar, C, Carl Mecklenburg, or D, Lewis Wright?
Okay, guys. You got a 1 in 4 option. You don't even need to Google this. You got a 25% chance. That's a good one though, Spotty. See, Travis.
First guess is not right. So
now you're down to 3 options.
Travis, keep going. You ever wanted to?
I know, right? Travis was like, it is C. It is Carl Mecklenburg.
Yeah.
Anthony. Awesome. Hey, Anthony, do me a favor, man, to get this prize. Go ahead and send us a message on Facebook with your address and let me know that it's for the Broncos beer mug, and I'll get that sent on over to you along with the prize for Gary and Keith so far. We do have one more prize to give away here in a few minutes, so make sure you guys are sticking by to get a chance at that one. So prize number 3 over to Anthony. Congratulations. And guys, once again, Fan Appreciation Night. Cannot say it enough. Thank you so much for all of your support during the season as we head on into year number 9 for Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. Okay, guys. So here we are, kind of the last maybe open topic, and we can kind of flow with it from there. But we got the Chiefs, Super Bowl winners. We got the Raiders, who just hired Anthony Pierce as their head coach, which from what we saw from him, man, he really got those guys, really geared up the last few games of the season there, and they were playing lights out. As much as I hate to, admit that, it is what it is. And then you got the Chargers, who are a terrible team, but now they have Harbaugh as their coach. So what are your guys' take on and kind of feelings of the AFC West and maybe where we stand in this whole mess? Because this is shaping up to be probably the toughest, not just because of the Chiefs, but the toughest division in NFL football. What do you guys think?
Womp, womp, womp. Man, the AFC West, man, okay, it's bad enough to have the Chiefs in there. It is bad enough. And this is a Chiefs team that we still look back on, and I'm not saying that they were even the best team in the NFL this year. Like, they definitely were the best team at the end of the year, but that they were not the best team in it this year. I sit back, and maybe because I'm still jaded about Sean Payton, but like I feel like Sean Payton's the 3rd best coach in our division right now. Until he proves it to me, I see Sean Payton still as the 3rd best coach in the division. I get it. We haven't seen John Harbaugh yet, so he could be a little bit of an enigma, wrapped in a mystery for us. But still, what we know about John Harbaugh, he's probably going to get those guys ready to go, and he's going to get back to the basics when it comes to those teams. He's not going to do anything that's just going to blow your top off, but they're probably going to end up winning games. Still the Chargers. The Chargers are still going to charge. We know that, but at this point, can we get some division wins? But right now, it looks like that we're not going to.
Yeah,
David.
I can't give John Harbaugh the second best coach in the division without seeing him play it down with the Chargers yet. I can't do it. And I especially can't do it because I think we're going to see the state of that roster this year is not good. I think that defense is really devoid of talent right now outside of a couple positions. Obviously, Joey Bosa is great, but Joey Bosa is as injured as Tim Patrick, it seems like. You've got Khalil Mack, who somehow had like 15 sacks or something this season, but is also a million. And they had to trade away J.C. Jackson, the corner. There's holes all over that roster. I do think that John Harbaugh is going to have a Sean Payton year next year with the Chargers, where he's going to win 8 to 9 games with that roster. He's going to get more out of some guys than you think, and there are going to be other guys that are not going to fit with what he wants to do on the field, and I think that's kind of what you're going to see the Chargers sort out to be next season. I do think in the long haul, that's a good hire for them. Obviously, freaking John Harbaugh is a really, really good football coach, and I really wanted the Broncos to hire him last year, and it didn't happen. But that's the way that goes. I want to talk about the Raiders a little bit because it will make me happier. This is not to say that I don't think Antonio Pierce is a good coach in and of him, just by himself. But I don't really believe in the staff that they assembled there. They tried their hardest to hire Cliff Kingsbury for reasons that still escape me. And they fell into Luke Getz, who just got fired from the Bears. And I'm like, what's the plan here?
The Bears offense was really amazing this year, right, David?
No, they were not. The Bears defense got really, really good down the stretch, which is why, I mean, fucking, what's his name? I can't remember their coach right now, but he literally coached himself into another year there because that defense was playing. Matt Eberflus, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what the plan is. And then they pick 13th, and they've got Jimmy G, who I think is on an expiring contract for them. And then they had Aiden O'Connell, who was Aiden O'Connell all year. And so if you're the Raiders now, like, what's the plan? You brought on Antonio Pierce because all your players responded to him, and that's great. I understand that. It's hard to get buy-in from your locker room, and if you've got it, it's really hard to give it up, especially when Max Crosby says he's going to demand a trade if you don't hire Antonio Pierce. You got Mark Davis over a barrel, and he's not that big of a guy. It's not really fair. But tell me what the plan is if you're the Raiders here. You brought on Antonio Pierce, who was your special teams coach. I'm sorry,
high school coach.
Linebackers coach,
high school coach.
Yeah, okay. So
they brought in Marvin Lewis too.
Yeah, and Tom Coughlin is there advising you. So, like, what's the structure here? Who's making decisions? Who's the?
Tom Brady is.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. I don't think he's actually been approved for his ownership stake. And the last time he was asked for an update on that, he didn't have a comment on it. So I have no idea what's going on with the freaking Raiders right now.
If you're going to pick a team to buy part ownership in, why the Raiders? When you're as rich as Tom Brady and you can pick any team,
you can't.
Why the Raider?
I think every team is up for sale.
It's Vegas. Just Vegas.
Well,
you can go with like millions of dollars and be like, I want a part of this. And you're going to tell me that all teams are going to thumb their nose and not find a way to get Tom Brady on part of the ownership group? Come on.
I'd say is buy-in is low. Buy-in is low for the Raiders, and the possibility of growth is the highest because every sport, maybe the sports team wants to be in Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas is the answer. Because Vegas.
Yeah. It's a gamble. Maybe that's it. It's like a bet. We're going to put some money down and
all on black,
right? That's the way you do it. Okay, guys, I think it is time for prize number 4, which is 4. Last prize of the night, a personalized Tumblr here, if your name is, it doesn't come with the name Amanda on it. If your name is Amanda, this is exactly what it would look like. Otherwise, we would put your name on it just so we're clear. Okay. But this is what we're gonna be looking at for prize number 4. So here's how we're gonna do this, guys. More of an open-ended answer. I want to hear your favorite moment from being a Broncos fan, not just this year. Maybe it was going to a specific game, maybe a specific play. I want to hear you kind of explain. Don't type out a big, huge story for me. We only have about 5 minutes left. So go ahead and type out a few sentences. What is your favorite all-time Broncos memory? And then I'll pick from those responses there. But again, if your name's Amanda, I might automatically give this to you just because you know exactly. I'm just kidding. I don't think we have an Amanda here. But while you guys are typing out that all out, let's see. Oh, somebody loves. Oh, somebody's pulling at my heartstrings. Facebook user. I don't know who you are. I can't see your name.
Well, the next comment says it's Cat. You just got to look at.
Oh, it's Cat. Okay. Okay, Cat. I can't show favoritism, but that is a very, very, very good answer there. The drive. Okay, that is classic right there. I'll tell you what. Anytime the video of the drive comes up on Facebook or whatever, I can't help but watch the whole damn thing. I don't know about you guys, but there's just something about it.
The play I always rewatch is Demaryius Thomas, Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas.
Every time.
I send it to my buddy who's a Steelers fan every time it comes up. Have like, happy anniversary.
No, I feel you, man.
I feel like that for them is as bad as like a Ravens fan sending us that, the Raheem Moore, the one I mean. I feel like it's
I think it's about the same. Yeah.
About equal. Yeah.
I don't know. There, David.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think. What about watching but what about watching Super Bowl 50 when you just when you remember watching Peyton Manning just be a shell of himself all year to the point where you literally wanted Brock Osweiler to be the quarterback for a minute. And then you found out the grass really wasn't that much greener on that other side, but somehow the defense just kept winning games and winning games. And
that was the Von Miller magic.
Yeah, I was going to say, first play of the drive of the game. That's what I remember.
Absolutely. Yeah, first drive. Oh God, but it was
that Super Bowl alone might get Von Miller into the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. You get a Super Bowl MVP. It's hard to keep him out when you got that Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, guys, we'll give you a couple more minutes for your favorite Broncos memory of all time for a chance to win this prize. We got some good answers already. I love it. Look, I mean, there's some big moments that I'm telling you, when it just comes up on my video feed, I just can't help but watch it play out, Super Bowl 50 highlights. What about the year Super Bowl 50 year? I mean, beating the Patriots both times, especially that regular season game. And CJ Anderson getting not only
the Broncos in that game, something like that.
Yeah, touchdown.
Like 3 Demaryius Thomas,
2 or 3. Oh, Demaryius Thomas got 2, I think. But CJ Anderson with the same run play, getting 2 touchdowns, one of them being the overtime winner. And I was in Japan at that time. And
for my health, I'm glad I wasn't like part of you guys at this point in my life when that happened. I would not have survived that night if we had to do a podcast after that game. I would have died. I would have had anxiety, alcohol, just combination of all the things that are bad for your body would have killed me. So I'm glad I was like 12.
Kim, how you doing? Glad to see you here. Make sure next time you talk to Jared, you tell him we all said hi, and that we miss his pretty face.
Hey,
miss his pretty face. Mm-hmm. Jared will be back eventually, guys. He's off saving the world for us, being a big time hero. Appreciate everything he's doing for us out in the Navy. But probably won't be back till halfway through the next season, just so you're aware. But we do miss him, and hope he comes back soon. So I think it's time to pick a winner, guys. Travis winning the first Super Bowl on your birthday. Man, that's a pretty good one. I don't know if you got some birthday luck there or whatnot, but you know what? I think that's deserving of a very, very, very late birthday gift to celebrate that first Broncos Super Bowl win. So you know what, man? I'm going to hand this one over to you, Travis. Make sure you send us a message on YouTube or on Facebook or something with your address. Make sure you put in there that it's for the tumbler, and I'll get that chipped off to you. Okay. So congratulations, man. Great answer. Thanks for hanging out with us throughout the entire show. And again, guys, make sure, make sure you hit like on this video. Make sure you're following us on YouTube and all that stuff, guys. Clayton, what did I miss? The whole show, man. All of it.
You almost made it, Clayton. I feel like Clayton's won quite a few prizes on this show in the past.
Well, yeah. Clayton, glad to see you, man. It's always good to see you here on the page when it pops up. Travis, of course, man. Glad you were here and everyone else who was here tonight. Let's go around the horn for some closing thoughts, guys. Big thing is next thing to watch out for is free agency, which starts March. I'm not sure which day exactly, but you're going to start seeing a whole bunch of free agency rumors, trade rumors. I would expect you, again, kind of what the Broncos press conference, what they said at the end of the year there. Not expecting much movement on the from the Broncos in terms of free agency. Maybe some day 2 or day 3 moves, getting some depth. But really, you're not going to see much, I think, until the draft. But John, let's start with you, man. Some closing thoughts. What you got?
Yeah, no, looking forward to the offseason. The NFL never sleeps. We could have an hour-long show every day, I think, just to talk shit about Kevin if we had to. But
you do it anyway. You do it anyway.
We would. We'd get there. We would. But I'm excited to see what happens at quarterback. Anyways, we've already talked about that. Cushenberry, big free agent. I think he's our biggest, if not Josie Jewell, to figure out what we're going to do there. Once again, we are in the quarterback conundrum, and so we aren't out of the storyline. And so every day you're going to have a different storyline. And until the news comes out, and I hope it comes out for Russell Wilson here shortly, like in the next day or two, or at least in the next week or two. Come on. Like, we need to know what direction we're going in. And I think they've kind of promised that. They've kind of hinted at timelines. So I hope that we have an answer, and so we can finally kind of start having an answer and start preparing for free agency and then the draft. So always looking forward to that, and just love you guys. Thank you for everyone that's watched the show throughout the year and forever. Like, y'all are amazing. And we do this because we love talking about the Broncos. Like, legitimately, it started because we want to talk to each other about the Broncos. We're like, what if we put this on the internet and see what happens? So for you guys that are commenting and getting prizes, like, thank you for being here. Like, we love you. And come on, like, be part of the party. So yeah, I'll hand it off to Spotty. I've talked enough.
Thanks, John.
Good transition.
One of my last kind of thoughts and, kind of going into this offseason is that I just want to tell all the Broncos fans that I'd be prepared to see a lot of new faces on the Broncos next year. David is somebody you bring it up almost every time, and the fact that we are in the new regime when it comes to Sean Payton. And Sean Payton definitely wants to get his guys in the door, and that may mean that guys like Josie Jewell and Tim Patrick, maybe even Aloy Cushenberry, or people that we may not see on the team next year, for better or for worse. So what I hope for the Broncos is that we continue the trend that we've had about these younger guys that we've got on draft day, on those later draft picks, or even better yet, some undrafted players. I hope we can continue to trend that truly is where you win the draft. I mean, you can get a transcendent player with the first pick if you hit on that, but we've also seen that, where you really build out your roster is on the second end of that. So I'm gonna say that, and then I also want to say, thank you guys for having me. This first year of Spotty on the podcast, so definitely felt the love. Definitely appreciated being out here. John made sure to recruit me late last year and told
I can't get the fireworks going off to go.
Yeah, yeah. John made sure to tell Kev Dan to get me on the show because like John said, I love talking, football. I'm pretty sure I call John every couple of days when news happen, and then we end up talking about this kind of stuff. Mostly because my fiance is sick and tired of hearing me talk about Broncos. She's like, "The season's over, honey. Give it up."
Season's never over. Season's never over.
I know. I was like, just because I put the Broncos gear in the other closet doesn't mean that I'm not still cheering. So, again, thanks, guys, and I appreciate the support this year.
Awesome, man. I love it. David, what you think, bud?
Having Spotty on the team.
Absolutely, Spotty. We're gonna
say that out
you're
loud.
a foundational member of it. We can't go on without you now, and we won't. Official position. Is it? I don't know. Is it time for a year of pain? And by that I mean, of course, they've all been years of pain. Right? For one reason or another, they've all just been miserable to a degree. Is it? We love you, Mama. Thank you for watching. Is it time to just embrace the suck? And I don't mean tank. That's not what I mean. I mean you put out as competitive of a team as you can while acknowledging the fact that this team has serious talent deficiencies in a lot of places. That you probably aren't going to fix it. In fact, you're definitely not going to fix it all in one off season, and that you're definitely not going to fix it in an off season where you have one pick in the top 75, and it's 12 overall. So I wonder if it's me. It kind of sucks to frame it as you're giving up before the season starts, right? But maybe it's time to enter an off season with the reality in mind that the Broncos are not going to be contenders this year, and we shouldn't expect them to try and build a team as if they're going to be contenders this year.
Right. I like it. You got to lay the groundwork, right? And some people, have said, and I get the frustration. Some people have said, the Broncos have been in rebuilding mode for 8 years now. Like, no, really, this is the first, maybe the second year that we've actually been in a rebuild mode, because before that, we were just making trades to get that one extra guy that we need to get us to the playoffs. John Elway kept saying we're one guy away, right? We're a quarterback away. And every time we got that guy, it never worked out, right? So we were never rebuilding. We were trying to maintain and just, bring in that extra little bit of talent that's going to push us over the edge. That's not a rebuild, right? A rebuild is what we're seeing right now. And when you do it correctly, it takes 2 or 3 solid years and making some real good moves to get you in a position of being competitive, right? So I think you're right on there, David. I think between the quarterback battle and, Andrew asked, is Taysom Hill going to be our next QB? I would doubt it, but at this point, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Is Russ going to come back? I don't know. We're going to draft a quarterback? I don't know. Are we getting someone free agent? I don't know. It could go so many different directions. But I think when you have from the top down, from ownership all the way down to the head coach, everyone is in alignment of here's a path we need to move forward on to rebuild this team. That's where you're going to see some positive movement. And so, look, what we already saw, I'm not saying that I'm sold on Sean Payton either, right? There are a lot of things this year that really call into question of, is he really the long-term answer for us? But he did improve the team. Team did improve this year, not by much, but it was something. We had a 5-game win streak. I mean, that was something. We beat some big-name guys. We beat the Chiefs for the first time in however long, right? There are some positive things to build off of. So, look, it's going to be a really exciting offseason. It may be quiet, but I think when you analyze the moves and we look back at the end of the offseason and see what the Broncos did, I think you're going to really kind of start to get a sense of where they're going with their rebuild. So it's going to be fun, I think, in that regard. But, David, you're spot on. Don't expect us to go out there and sweep the Chiefs and sweep the Raiders and, just win out the AFC West and, get a home playoff game. That's probably not in the cards for us this year. But with the right moves, you're talking about 2 to 3 years from now. Okay. And we're going to be along for the journey as it happens, as it unfolds. So Kim, completely. Let's keep our expectations high anyway. Just, let's not give him too much slack, right?
I love it.
I love it. Okay, guys.
I would never disagree with Kim.
No, never at all. Hey guys, next year, obviously we'll be doing another fan appreciation episode. So make sure you come back end of the season for some more prizes. Next show, we'll probably do a live show as we start gearing up towards free agency. So look out for some videos on YouTube and stuff telling you when we're going to do that, and make sure you're following us on YouTube so you can see all of our latest content and the shorts and the videos we put out for you guys. Hopefully it'll make the offseason go that much quicker and not be too painful for everyone. But John, Spotty, David, you guys are fantastic as always, guys. Thank you so much for everything you do and all the help you give me here at the podcast. So guys, time to sign off. Get ready. I know March seems like a while away, but it'll be here before you know it. We'll be talking free agency. So I think there's nothing else to say, guys, other than to end it, as we always do, on a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.